All right, so I want to go over a campaign that I've built a couple of different times to count the number of times somebody has purchased, right? So Infusionsoft has some different reporting capabilities to tell you how much someone has spent with you, or how much money you've made, or if they've bought, but it doesn't really allow you to do the number of times that they've purchased as a criteria, right? You can see which products they've purchased in combinations, but it doesn't track the number of times. So this campaign starts with any purchase. And you don't have to be processing orders through Infusionsoft Shopping Cart. I'll get to that in just a moment. It starts with any purchase. And then I have an empty sequence here just to condense them. And then I have first purchase, second purchase, and third purchase. So I'm going to route people through this decision diamond. And I've got the rules set up in here so that if they have the first purchase tag, or if they don't have the first purchase tag, I send them here. If they have the first purchase tag but don't have the second one, I send them here. And if they have the first and second but don't have the third, then I send them down here. So all that's happening in each of these sequences is I'm applying a tag saying first purchase. So now I know that they've made the first purchase. And then if they get routed into here, I'm removing purchase tags updated. I'll get to that in just a moment. And then I'm applying the second purchase tag. And then same thing for the third one. So the first step is I'm removing purchase tags updated, and I'm applying the third purchase tag. So the reason I'm removing that tag is because over here, I want to reapply it in order to end the campaign. So if they come through the first time, then I know they don't have that tag, so I don't need to remove it there, but I'm removing it in both of these. So all that's happening in this sequence is I'm applying a tag that says purchase tags updated. And as soon as that tag is applied, it achieves this goal, tags updated. So now I know that they're going to have the first purchase tag if they have only bought once. They'll have the first and second purchase tag. They'll have both if they've bought twice, and they'll have all three if they have bought 3 times. So the reason that's important to recognize is because just because someone has the second purchase tag doesn't mean that they've only bought twice. It means they've bought at least twice. And of course, you can scale this process to encompass as many purchases as you want to track. You know, if you've got a frequent flyer program or a regular customer loyalty program, this is an easy way to track the number of purchases they've made. Okay, so I was working with a client or a friend, Brian, the other day, and Brian said he also has opportunities, and he needs to track if a opportunity closes as a purchase as well. So we'll say one or closed one, and here we go. If we connect that, now what we're doing is we're triggering the same process when somebody moves into the one stage. So the reason that's important is because this goal doesn't fire unless the purchase takes place through the shopping cart or an order form. So this encompasses our opportunities as well. So now if they buy online or if they come through, we then send them through and it counts those purchases. So after showing him this, we had a conversation, and it turns out there's only certain opportunity types that they want to track. So what I recommended doing was actually just saying purchase took place and creating a note template, right? So that way, instead of having every single opportunity that closes trigger that, you get to manually choose which opportunities and then apply a note saying, hey, this took place. So we'll say purchase happened offline, right? And then you update the contact record using this note, knowing it's going to fire off this campaign and also update their purchases. So if your purchase is happening elsewhere, you can swap out these entry points with any purchase, right? It doesn't have to be through our shopping cart. It could be when a tag is applied through a third-party integration. It could be an API call goal. Whatever is triggering that purchase. It doesn't matter to us as long as Infusionsoft finds out about it. Okay, so this campaign right here is locked and loaded, ready to go. I could publish it now. However, it recently occurred to me that I can now replace those tags, right? Tags is what I've been using for a while, but we can actually delete those and use the new set a field value snippet. So if we go create a contact field, we'll create a custom field and we can set that to whole number as the type. Now, just as a heads up, it only supports up to 999,999,999. So if you think somebody's going to buy more than that, a billion times or more, then you're going to have to use a text field. Just a heads up. So what we'll do is we'll use this set field value, and we can set that field, the purchase tracker field, to 1, right? So we'll set it to 1 if they get routed into this sequence. And then, of course, what we'll do here is we will, instead of applying the tag, we'll set it to 2. So process, set field value, and we'll choose that purchase tracker field again. And now we're setting it to 2, right? We're dedicating this, anyone who comes through here is going to change that field value to 2. And then, of course, we do the same thing here for 3. And you can extrapolate that out way beyond 3, right? If you think you're going to track up to 10 or more purchases, that's going to be fine. If you think it's going to be in the double digits or much higher, then this process is going to be kind of challenging to scale, just because you'll have to have a rule and a sequence for each number you want to count. So now that we've changed those from tags to being set field value, we can actually update the rules here and make them a lot easier. So we no longer need to have inclusionary and exclusionary logic on the different rules. All we need to do is say if the field value equals, put them in here, right? So if the field value, if the contacts, and we'll choose custom fields, and actually I think it's under test fields, yeah. Purchase tracker, and we'll say equals, and then we get to say 0. And then the next rule is if the contacts test field, that's the tab on the contact record I put it on, purchase tracker, and we'll say equals, and we'll say 1. That's when we want to send them to the second purchase, right? So if they come through and it already is 1, we put them in here. And then if they come through and the contacts test field, purchase tracker equals and 3, actually this would be 2, then we update it to 3. So you can kind of see how the logic plays out. If they come through and it's already 1, we'll put them in here. If they come through and it's already 2, we'll put them in here. If they come through and it's 0, they put them in there. And then, like I said, you just build it out to scale as many as you'd like. So now we're updating a field value. That makes reporting a lot easier. Right, previously with the tags, you had to choose if they had this tag and not that tag, but now we can quite plainly see if their field value equals 2, they have bought exactly 2 times. One thing I'll also add before we wrap this up is I would encourage you to maybe apply a note here, right? So a note, something to log that this has been updated. By applying and removing the tag, you can see that the tag date stamp is going to indicate when it was updated most recently. But if you want a historical record, what I would do is create a note that says bought again, and then say they bought again. This was purchase number. And then you can actually merge into these notes now. Whoops. You can actually merge in the value. So I could say merge, put my cursor there, and then go to my custom fields and find my purchase tracker field. So it'll merge in 1, 2, or 3, or 0, or whatever number that they've bought. And the benefit of this is it'll time and date stamp that note on the contact record. So if they come through, I can easily look at the record and say, wow, they bought 3 times and it was all in the same week. Or they bought 3 times, but it was over the course of 5 years, right? So that information means something different to you. So hopefully you can see some value in this campaign here. And if you want to interact with customers who have bought more than others in a different way, you now have that type of clarity in your list or database. But think about this from a higher level. This counting method doesn't have to be used to track purchases. You can use it to track appointments or consulting hours or anything that happens in increments. So consider that when you're thinking about how you're going to leverage this in your business. Good luck.